Can everybody hear me? Good morning, everybody. We are celebrating a milestone today. Somebody in this room has been in practice for 50 years. That's pretty impressive. 1974. I was not even 2 years old when this person got their license.
I wasn't born.
Rachel wasn't born yet. And that would be Dr. Dick Broeg. I had the opportunity about a week ago to sit down with Dr. Broeg and do a little mini interview with him. We had a great conversation. I asked him some questions. I got to know a lot about Dr. Broeg. I got to know some history of the KAC. So I'm going to bring him up here and just to share a few minutes of that conversation so you all can enjoy some of that.
Gosh, I didn't know we were going to have pictures. Thank you, Doug, and thank you, everyone, for this recognition. So we did have a great conversation, and Doug asked me to jot down a few notes of some of the questions that he asked and my responses to those. So I'm going to read those. So I wrote them down because it's a little bit emotional for me, and I thought this would help me stay on track. So his first question was, what was practice like when you first started out? Remember, this is 1974. After graduation from Palmer in 1974, Dr. Joe King in Park Hills, Kentucky, offered me an associate position. Practice was simpler then. Listen to this. We had no insurance. We had no computers. We had no EHR. And there were no credit cards. Does anybody remember any of that? Are any of you that old? Yeah, a few of you. Amazing, isn't it? So Mary and I, and Mary was 6 months pregnant with our first child, we left Davenport and came to Kentucky in a 63 Buick and our U-Haul to start our chiropractic adventure. Doug also asked me, what changes have you seen? Well, we have instituted all the things I said we just had none of. But some of the top changes that I've seen in the profession have included improvements in education and research. Secondly, the technical advantages and changes in managing a practice. Sometimes when I was reading this, I thought, maybe it might be better to go back to the simpler things when we had none of those things, but that's not possible. We know that. And third was the changes in insurance. In the 1970s, we had no insurance coverage, did not cover chiropractic services, so we had no claims to file. In the 1980s, it was open insurance, where you just provide the service, you sent in the claim, they sent you a check. That was pretty good. In the 90s, came in managed care. And managed care made things more difficult. A lot of docs then were not on panels, and that limited access to care for many patients who needed that insurance for their coverage. And in the 2000s, we've gotten into pre-authorization, what I call micromanagement of our claims. And with the last two, in the 90s and the 2000s, came a lot of fee reductions as well, which is unfortunate. Another question he asked me, would you have any words of wisdom for docs just starting out? Just a couple. Number one, never stop learning. And never lose the desire and the compassion to serve your patients. Number two, do your fair share for the profession. Another one of his questions, what made you join the KAC? Well, when I first started out with Dr. King, He was a very well respected, had a strong reputation in the community, and he said to me, "You need to join the KAC. It'll help you and it'll help the profession." And so I did. And it was great advice. I benefited personally and professionally. And one thing I really appreciate and still appreciate is meetings like today, because we get to touch base with our colleagues, talk to them face to face, share ideas, sometimes tell about all our difficult things we're encountering in our practice, and learn some solutions to those things and how we can deal with those effectively. We get exposed to great speakers, which Dr. Rachel has done an excellent, fabulous job of bringing in these wonderful speakers that we're having. And they, as Christy said this morning, many of them are nationally, most of them, all of them really, are nationally renowned speakers. So it presents a great opportunity for us. And then the third thing, it helps keep up with technological changes and advances that sometimes it seems overwhelming, just like all the things that Dr. Rachel has just mentioned and that other things we're going to hear about today. But we certainly couldn't keep up with those things on our own without the training and education that we get at our meetings here. And the final thing that I'm going to mention that he asked me, he said, if you had to point to one thing in your practice that has helped you be successful for 50 years, what would it be? And I said to him, my unwavering commitment to help people through the delivery of chiropractic care. Having my two daughters, Dr. Eva, the DC, and Jenna, a nutritionist, come into the practice with me, which has revitalized that commitment. And finally, the strong support, the unconditional support of my wife and partner of 53 years. Thanks, babe.
Dick, don't go anywhere.
Yeah, sorry, I forgot to hit play.
I forgot about that 63 Buick.
Well, in honor of your 50 years in practice, Dick, we're going to honor you with the 2024 Presidential Award from the KAC.